What's good, TMG fam? It's your boy L, and I'm back with another reaction video, man. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute. What a great day to be a man, right? No offense, ladies, no offense. But I'm just, I'm saluting the fellas right now. What a great day to be a man. Listen, now I've always heard about it in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? They always said it's the women outnumber men in Atlanta back when I heard the stat. Yes, I called it a stat. But back when I heard it, it was like 3-1. They outnumbered the men. It was crazy. It was a wild number. And that's why I used to tell my homeboys, because, of course, me, I'm out the game. I'm not in the game. I'm not out there. But I would tell some of my homeboys, I'd be like, look, man, y'all tripping over this one female, man. Do you know how many women there are out there? Do you really, truly know how many women are out there, bro? They outnumber us. They outnumber us. It's scary. It's scary. So while you sitting here tripping over one woman, look how many there are out there, bro. Like, stop it. You know what I'm saying? Stop it. But in this video, man, it said women in this town compete to find a husband because of a man shortage. Because of a man shortage, they compete to find. Wouldn't you want to live there if you were a man? If you were single? In a town where women gotta compete. Fellas, no more of fear of rejection. Huh? Everybody dealt with that at some form of time. Mine was my younger years. When I was like coming up through middle school and the beginning part of high school, because I caught my stride in high school, on into college. I caught my stride, but in a town where they gotta compete, fellas, that means you walk out your door and there's a woman out there probably throwing rose petals at your feet. Trying to compete for your attention, not you, not the other way around. It exists, fellas. It exists. Now, the only thing we can hope in this video is that they say what town it is. I feel like I'm about to expose a hidden gem that you guys didn't know about, fellas. Now watch their male population rate go up in a minute after I get done with this video. Let's check it out.
Hi everyone, there are more than 200 countries in the world, each of them unique in its own way. They have different languages, mentalities, cultures and cuisines. However, let's not forget that within each state there are also thousands of different settlements, which can differ from each other drastically. Sometimes residents of different settlements of the same country need subtitles to understand each other's speech on TV. The differences in
Look at that dude beard, bro.
Country needs subtitles to understand each
beard goals right there, yo. He got the joints coming like all the way down to up. Yo, that's crazy.
other's speech on TV. The differences in pronunciation might be considerable. However, some settlements are unique in every sense of the word. Today, we will tell you about the cities and villages that have become famous throughout the world, thanks to their unusual inhabitants and traditions. Let's get it on. Bengkala. More than 5 million foreign tourists visit the exotic island of Bali every year. A huge number of people flock there because of a mild climate, pristine beaches, and luxury service.
Yes, Bali is, if I said it correctly, Bali is definitely on my list of places to go to, bro. You always see those dope pictures and getaways and group photos of people who went out to Bali and just balled out, man. It just looked amazing over there.
Most tourists converse in international English, which seems to be spoken almost everywhere today. Few travelers speak the official language of the country, Indonesian. But what's more interesting is that the jungle of the island is home to one settlement, which for many generations uses a special language not spoken by anyone beyond its borders. This language is called Kata Kolok, which literally translates as deaf talk. It's not a random name either. Kata Kolok is a unique sign language that's unlike any other language in the world. In the village of Bengkala, this is the main form of communication. This is because a significant portion of deaf people live here. For a long time, locals believed that deafness was associated with some kind of ominous curse, but actually there's a scientific explanation for this. The reason is a special geographically centric recessive gene, DFNB3, passed down from generation to generation of the villagers. After discovering an unusual feature of their people, the Bengkala decided not to use already existing sign languages, but just to come up with their own. It's used by all residents, regardless of their ability to actually hear. All kids without exceptions begin to learn Katakolok since early childhood, because during their lives, they'll have to communicate with their deaf compatriots. Shani, Shingapur. There are some countries in the world where it's not customary to lock the doors. It's simply not necessary.
Yo, Jack nigga's stupid. But can you imagine living in a place where you don't lock your doors? I don't think I could ever get used to that or even do that. Not having lived over here for so many years with the crime rates, the wild animals, and different things like that, man, I don't think I could ever sleep comfortably knowing like my door was wide open, fam. I don't think that's, no.
Rule: this only works for developed and modern states where the crime rate is close to zero. Well, India does not quite fit this description, but there is a place where residents fully trust each other. It's a village called Shani, Shingapur. People don't lock their doors here, and many buildings don't actually have doors at all. And even if they do, they often don't have locks. This is because the inhabitants of this village are supposedly guarded by the god Shani, who ordered the villagers not to lock their doors. In addition, the deity also promised an imminent punishment for any robber who would try to seize the opportunity. Locals sincerely believe in this tradition, and it seems that it works for them. According to the people of Shani, Shingapur, over the past 400 years there hasn't been a single case of theft in the village.
That's amazing. That should be goals. We always talking about life goals and different type of goals that we have as a society. How about a goal where you don't have to lock it, where some people don't even have doors? Like, let that sink in. That should be a goal. Or we ain't even gotta have door. It's optional. Locking your door or having a door is optional. And you ain't gotta worry about nothing. Talk about care and stress free. I guarantee you, a lot more people over there live longer than we do.
Huangluo. If you saw a cartoon about the beautiful Rapunzel, you probably wondered, is it possible to grow hair like that in real life? In theory, yes, but it certainly depends on genetics and the right hair care. And it seems the residents of this Chinese village treat their hair as their most prized possession. In the unusual Chinese village of Huangluo, there is a centuries-old tradition kept by all women living there. Since childhood, they grow a long and thick braid, which they cut only once in a lifetime. This happens when a young girl is ready for marriage, and when the women give birth to the first child, they add 2 hair extensions, the one gifted to her after marriage and the one made out of her fallen hair strands. In Huangluo, long hair is a symbol of beauty, financial well-being and longevity. Moreover, locals consider female
Bro, they gotta at least spend like half a day on their hair. That's crazy. That I feel for women over here, like, and all the hair stuff that, like, you know how it is. Waiting on a woman to get ready to go somewhere and she doing her hair, bro, you might as well go get comfortable for a while. It's gonna be a while. Imagine waiting on a woman there with that much hair. Bro, you gotta tell her the day before to start getting ready.
hair sacred. In order to keep this long-standing tradition, mothers and grandmothers pass their hair care secrets from generation to generation. One of them is washing your hair with special fermented rice water. Gross and Monawi. Here is a small town in Nebraska. Well, actually calling it small is an understatement. In fact, there are only 2 people living in Gross, Mike and Mary Finnegan, who are spouses and business partners. In the neighbouring town of Monawi, there is only one resident, Elsie Eiler, who is also its mayor and owner of a local tavern. But how do they earn their living and cope with loneliness, you might wonder? Well, it's simple. Tourists or Americans passing by often visit both of these towns, so the locals don't complain about the boring life. On the contrary, they consider themselves lucky. Santa Cruz del Islote. Okay, so we've already learned what it's like to be the only person living in the entire city. But what if the city is 4 times as dense as the borough of Manhattan? We're not talking about Tokyo or Singapore, as you might think. This is a tiny Caribbean island, home to about 1,200 people. It only spans the length of 2 soccer fields, but its residents truly believe in the more the merrier motto.
Talk about packed! Fam! Like, you probably couldn't take 2 steps without walking into somebody. No type of privacy. Oh, man. And talk about an intimate moment with your significant. That ain't happening.
They managed just fine in close quarters, packing in a school, 2 shops, and 1 restaurant. There are no police on the island, but there isn't much need for them, as everyone just knows each other. What's interesting is that 150 years ago, the island was still uninhabited. It was sometimes used by the Colombian fishermen as a place to rest and take shelter during storms. However, at some point, some of them decided to stay on the island for good and built houses there. That's how, in just a few decades, a pretty big...
Everybody's smiling though, so they happy, man. I'm just like, you get into those moments inside your home and you be like, I just need a moment to myself. I just need to get away from everybody. On that island that we're looking at right now, from that aerial view, where are you going to get some alone time? None, but they're all happy, bro, so.
A community was born there, which is enjoying its peaceful life to this day. Giethoorn. The European village of Giethoorn is sometimes called the Dutch Venice or the Venice of the North, and for a good reason. The thing is, there are no roads in this village, located about an hour-and-a-half drive from Amsterdam. People only use boats to move around Giethoorn through the countless canals once dug up for peat extraction. The only way to travel by land is to ride the bicycle down a narrow path in the center of the village. Hundreds of thousands of tourists visit Giethoorn every year to admire the colorful scenery and rent an electric whisper boat to sail through the canals. You've got to admit, these lovely little houses with flower beds look like they come from the pages of some medieval tale. Kamikatsu. With more and more people realizing the importance of protecting the environment these days, the infrastructure in major cities has been getting greener by the year. Scandinavian countries have been especially successful at being environmentally conscious. But even they can still only dream about a zero-waste campaign as effective as in this Japanese village. The authorities of Kamikatsu introduced the campaign in 2003. The citizens were supposed to sort their waste into 45 categories. The goal of all of this thorough effort was to recycle all types of packages and other used products. The citizens struggled at first, of course, but today they've achieved 85% recycling rate and inspire eco-warriors worldwide.
Wow.
Uros Islands. You've probably heard about the unique Titicaca Lake in South America that borders Peru and Bolivia, but you might not have heard of its extraordinary inhabitants. And no, we don't mean some weird fish or clams. We're talking about the movable floating islands created by humans that you can find there, about 100 of them. For centuries, a local Uros tribe has been living there. They use dried reeds to make the floating platforms and straw for houses. It's hard work, but the tribe's sacred secrets have been passed down through generations. These secrets are very old, as the Uros lived in Peru long before even.
That's amazing. Only time it would scare me though is like during bad weather. Probably you could wake up and your island that you were on may have been floated way out somewhere. How you gonna get back? But they probably got some way to like tie it down to try to stabilize it to withstand the winds and the rain and stuff. That's amazing, but it still would be like nerve-wracking. But wow, to think that they could do that with that and still get it to float. Crazy.
And the Incas. Of course, most of the Uros have long moved to live on land, but hundreds of them still stay true to their traditions. Piplantry. The birth of a girl was considered a bad omen in many ancient cultures, like the Spartan culture for instance. In some Asian countries today, little girls are still treated as a financial burden. However, those from the Piplantry village decided to fight these.
how do you say it without coming off? Girls do cost you a lot more than boys. They do. They do. Are you looking at somebody who I knew better than to have, like, I just knew I wouldn't do good with a girl. I'd be a softie. I'd be wrapped around her finger. Dad, I need this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would be too I did not need a girl. Like, so that statement that he made, I wholeheartedly understand it. I get it.
As a financial burden. However, those from the
Not like he meant it though.
Piplantry village decided to fight these stereotypes. The former leader of the village, who lost his daughter, decided to start a new beautiful tradition in 2006. He suggested planting 111 young trees for each newborn girl. It's supposed to bring good luck. This tradition has been maintained for almost 15 years in Piplantry. By now, tens of thousands of trees having been planted by the locals. Dongguan. This Chinese city stands out because there are far more women here than men. It's become okay for one man to date several women at once, and what's more, the women themselves encourage such behavior as they don't.
What? What was the name of this place? Hold on, back up. Listen, fellas, listen.
Dongguan.
Dongguan. I wonder why I call it Dong. Dongguan. Fellas, write that down. Take it down. Take notes, fellas.
This Chinese city stands out because there are far more women here than men. It's become okay for one man to date several women at once, and what's more, the women themselves encourage such behavior as they don't want to be left all alone. Dongguan's men often have relationships with 2 or even 3 women who treat each other perfectly well, respect their hierarchy and schedule. However,
Respects the hierarchy? That would never happen over here. You hear me? Never happen over here.
Relationships like this can't last forever. A lot of women come to Dongguan to work, which is why there are so many of them in the city. At some point, they decide they want to have a family and a partner for life and go back to their home cities to look for a man there, this time for a long-term relationship. Psst, dude, are you looking for new technology?
That's crazy. Dongguan, fellas, keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? If you ever feel like you strung out on your luck, you can't find a woman, man, you keep hitting dead ends, and or you're just not having any luck at landing a woman, man, go over to Dongguan, man. They got plenty for you, bro. Plenty. Listen, man. Y'all get at me in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think, man. Y'all know I was just having fun, though. Y'all know Queen ain't let me go nowhere near none of them places. Nowhere near none of them places, right? So, but glad I can have fun with y'all, man. Y'all get at me in the comment section. Let me know what y'all thought of this video. Women in this town compete to find a husband because of a man shortage, man. And all the other cool stuff we find out. Till the next reaction, man. I'm out. Peace. Y'all stay solid. Hey.